What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who's currently the undisputed super middleweight world champion, who is widely considered to be the face of the sport of boxing, top 3, if not top 5, pound for pound best fighters in the world, in Saul Canelo Alvarez. 57 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. With that said, Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's heading into a September 17th Mexican Independence Day weekend showdown with two-time unified middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Gennady "Triple-G" Golovkin, who is now, Golovkin is moving up to 168. He's venturing outside of 160 for the first time in his entire career. Okay, Gennady Golovkin has never fought above or below 160. Okay, so Golovkin, this is a trilogy. The first fight ended in a draw. The second fight saw Canelo Alvarez the victor, and now we heading into the trilogy. Okay, so Gennady Golovkin, you know, is 40 years of age. You know, he's looked very vulnerable in his last few fights. You know, Gennady Golovkin, you know, has not looked like the same guy in quite some time. Okay, it's been a while since we saw the Gennady Golovkin that looked invincible. The last time we saw that Golovkin was probably the Canelo Alvarez Golovkin second fight, the first fight, right? Outside of that, we have not seen the best version of Gennady Golovkin. Okay, he has 1 loss to Canelo, 1 draw to Canelo. He has 37 knockouts in his career, but he's 40 years of age. You know, stands at 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. Okay, so now Canelo Alvarez and his team, they initially stated that Golovkin fight was forced upon them. Okay, that's what Canelo Alvarez, his well-renowned 2-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer Eddie Reynoso, stated that, you know, this is a fight they did not want. Okay, they did not want this trilogy with Golovkin. They wanted an immediate rematch of their last fight, in which they lost and got dominated to undefeated WBA, World Boxing Association, light heavyweight world champion, Russian superstar boxer Dmitry Bivol, who is now 20 wins, no loss, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 72-inch arm reach. He actually absolutely dominated Canelo Alvarez, point blank and period. Okay, there's no other way to slice it. He dominated Canelo Alvarez. Okay, Canelo Alvarez may have won 2 to 3 rounds, and that could be a stretch, right? So with that said, they stated that they wanted an immediate rematch. We know that they were saying that he was daring to be great by moving up to 175, but he can't dare to be great moving up to 175 if he already fought at 175 and was already a champion at 175. He beat Sergey Crusher Kovalev back in 2019 for the WBO title, and he knocked out Sergey Kovalev, right, at 175. So how could his loss to Dmitry Bivol be daring to be great when he already won a title at that weight class? Okay, that's just not possible, right? So he lost to the better fighter, point blank and period. And so with that said, after the fight, you know, Canelo Alvarez, he stated that he felt like Dmitry Bivol won the fight. Then there was a period of time where Canelo Alvarez was saying he thought he won the fight, and the judges just didn't simply give him the nod. Okay, and he was going to mull over having a rematch with Dmitry Bivol. You know, he had the opportunity, you know, to have an immediate rematch, but he chose to go in a different direction. Okay, and so the fact that he chose to go in a different direction, and he fighting Triple-G in the trilogy, they said that Eddie Reynoso just said they didn't want this fight, right? They wanted the Dmitry Bivol fight. Well, here's proof that Canelo Alvarez knows that he's not very comfortable and it doesn't like the style matchup of fighting and beating confidence that he could beat Dmitry Bivol, because now Canelo Alvarez is saying he don't think he'll ever rematch Dmitry Bivol. Okay, he's saying that fight, you know, is possibly in his rearview mirror. Okay, so he's having this trilogy with Gennady Golovkin, who has 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 37 wins by way of knockout, 40 years of age. As I stated, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. They initially told you that this fight was forced upon them by the zone, by the matchmakers, and the execs at the zone, right? Because they don't want to. They invested in massive amount of money and multi-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez, and they don't want to run the risk of Canelo Alvarez fighting Dmitry Bivol and lose again. Okay, that was according to Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. Well, now Canelo Alvarez is saying that he don't think he'll ever fight and rematch Dmitry Bivol, right? He's not sure if that'll ever happen again, right? So this means, right, that Canelo Alvarez, okay, is not confident that he can beat Dmitry Bivol, okay? I believe that Dmitry Bivol took something out of Canelo Alvarez. He took a little bit of Canelo Alvarez's confidence away. See, the problem is Canelo Alvarez deep down understands what took place. See, initially, Canelo Alvarez's other loss on his resume was to retired, legendary, iconic, Hall of Fame superstar boxer in Floyd Money Mayweather, who retired 50-0, the man known as Money, okay? That was Canelo Alvarez's first loss, okay? And it was his only loss for quite some time, but he had some questionable wins on his resume as well, okay? But nonetheless, he looked at that fight with Floyd Mayweather, okay, like many people did, and they felt like, this was a situation where Canelo Alvarez was simply too green. He was 23 years of age. He had over 40 fights. He had 5 title defenses. He had a unification bout against a top 3 junior middleweight in his division in Austin Trout. Okay, he unified the belts against Austin Trout. So, he had experience, but they used the fact that, well, he's 23 years of age, he's still young, he's still green, he didn't have, the experience. Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter in the world, arguably the greatest fighter of all time. Floyd Mayweather was 37 years of age. He was closer to 40 than he was 30, okay? And Canelo Alvarez is the bigger, stronger guy, okay? Floyd Mayweather only ventured above 147 to junior middleweight a few times. He fought Miguel Cotto, Oscar De La Hoya, and Canelo Alvarez at 154, okay? Now Canelo Alvarez asked for the catchweight of 152 because he thought Floyd Mayweather wasn't going to give him the fight. So he was doing everything in his power to get Floyd Mayweather to agree to the fight. So he threw out a catchweight of 152, 2 pounds below the 154-pound limit, okay? And Floyd Mayweather accepted, but Floyd Mayweather, to prove that Floyd Mayweather wasn't trying to get over on Canelo Alvarez or handicap Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather didn't put a rehydration clause. So if Floyd Mayweather wanted to fight at a catchweight, he would have put a rehydration clause on top of that. He didn't put a rehydration clause, okay? He left it as it was, okay? And Canelo Alvarez outweighed Floyd Mayweather by 20 pounds the night of the fight. Floyd Mayweather didn't care because, like Floyd Mayweather always says, skills pay the bills, and skills paid the bills. He dominated Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez lost every single round to Floyd Mayweather. But again, they had the built-in excuse. That, that he was too green and he lost to the more skilled, the better guy in Floyd Mayweather, right? So they dismissed that as a learning lesson, right? So what he said was, he got taken to school, but Canelo Alvarez felt like that wasn't a loss. Now, 2 fights later, he fought Alfredo Angulo, the next fight after Floyd Mayweather lost. Then he fought Erislandy Lara, a slick Cuban southpaw, high ring IQ, quick hands, quick feet, and he arguably lost that fight, right? But again, he got the nod. The judges gave him the nod. So he didn't actually lose the fight. But many people felt like he lost the fight, right? Then he had the 2 questionable fights with Triple G, but he got the nod and the draw. This fight with Dmitry Bivol, there's no excuse. They tried to, again, like I said, they tried to have the excuse that, well, he dared to be great by going up to 175. That don't work. because you was already a champion. You fought at the full 175-pound limit, not a catchweight against Sergey Crusher Kovalev. You know, he didn't come down, none of that, okay? No gimmicks, no flares. It was full 175, and you knocked out Sergey Kovalev in 2019. So Sergey Kovalev is bigger than Dmitry Bivol. And it was technique, skill, and fundamentals that beat Canelo Alvarez, not the size of Dmitry Bivol. And so at the end of the day, it shows that Canelo Alvarez's confidence wavered a little bit, and he felt a chink in his armor, right? You know, he was on a streak. He was on a hot streak, and people were saying Canelo Alvarez is, you know, unbeatable, right? Even me at one point, I'm like, I don't see nobody out there could beat him, right? After he won Undisputed against Caleb Plant, I'm like, I thought Dmitry Bivol was going to beat him, right? So I thought he was going to beat Dmitry Bivol. So with that said, you know, now he's saying that he don't think he'll ever revisit Dmitry Bivol fight, right? Because if Dmitry Bivol repeats the same performance, the excuses go out the window, right? And it's unexplainable. And now you just have to say you lost to the better man, and they don't want that. So now it looks like after this fight with Triple G Golovkin in September, he could possibly actually entertain the possibility of fighting two-time super middleweight WBC world champion Mexican superstar boxer David Benavidez, who's undefeated, or he could revisit the opportunity and the possibility of fighting two-time, two-division world champion, undefeated WBC middleweight world champion Jamal Lyons Only Charlo. So it looks like those two fights are on the table, as Canelo Alvarez saying he don't think he's going to revisit the Dmitry Bivol fight, and not in the near future, if ever at all. Right, again, because if he loses to him again, the excuses is gone. So that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon and get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like your shitty videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.